This one. Oh, how crazy is this? We go back to League of Legends, right? Now, I've played League of Legends. Do believe I got to Platinum one time. It was really fun. It was a great experience. Wasn't, of course. Even Dota is more relaxing than League of Legends because Dota just seems to have a different class of asshole. A smarter asshole. But League of Legends assholes are just common or garden assholes. For the longest time, Riot Games have been on this crusade to fix what they call toxicity. Remember, the reason people use toxicity as a buzzword is because of League of Legends, because of Riot Games, because of Riot Lite. That's where it comes from. Because Zoomers just fuck up everything linguistically. They see a word, they see it being used repeatedly, so they want to appear like they're in the know, and so they say it in the wrong setting and wrong environment, but it's all right, because then another Zoomer sees it, and like an infection, it just spreads, but it's an infection of stupidity. So toxicity gets used now just as a catch-all phrase for anything negative. So people say, oh, when he was on his team, he was toxic, right? That's toxic. I'm like, no. Here's what toxicity meant. And I've explained this many times, but for the purposes of this, when it becomes a VOD for YouTube, we'll go over it again. Riot Lite had a model for League of Legends where it was, if one person comes into a game and is having a bad day, or has a bad game, or is just a genetic level cunt, as in their cuntishness is so hardwired into their DNA, they can only be a cunt. You know, people like me, obviously, right? They get in a game, they act like a cunt, and what happens is that cuntishness impacts on other people because now they've had a negative experience. And because they've had a negative experience and they don't quit and go to bed for the night and think, right, fuck it, it's not going to happen today, they go and they play in another game. And then somebody makes a mistake and then they're the cunt. You snap, you go, fucking hell, I've had 3 games in a row with dickheads and it's happening again. And now can you fucking, and you tee off on someone in a disproportionate way because you're negatively affected by the person previous. The toxicity, right? The negativity is spread to you like a toxic substance. And that was the model they used to talk about, right? That was where it comes from. This was a way for Riot Lite, a fucking deranged person himself, to sound incredibly intelligent for a phenomenon that, you know, has just existed in, like, psychology for ages. But because it was League, right, and because it's Riot Games, definitely not a cult, they went around, even to schools, this is all true, I've covered it, right? Even at schools, and we're going, we are going to make the world a better place by eliminating toxicity. This is the model of toxicity, and we think this model can be applied to the real world. They implement a ton of models, all of which are garbage, right? As anyone who's played League of Legends can attest to. The first big model that Riot Lite thought was genius was mob justice, right? He literally arrived at that conclusion. Mob justice, and he called it the tribunal. What was the tribunal? The tribunal was literally, here's 3 chat logs from a player. Do you want to ban this player? And people, because you used to get rewards for completing tribunal cases, so not only was the concept mob justice, but the concept was mob justice with rewards and incentives. Brilliant stuff. Like, you're a fucking genius, mate. PhD, I wouldn't wipe my ass on it, son. Because I'll tell you now, from boots on the ground level, how fucking mental that would make society if you extrapolated that. So people realised that, because you had to guess the correct ruling, right? So people realised if you wanted to do all your tribunal cases and get all your LP points for doing your tribunal cases, what you did is you just click guilty. Because chances are they must have done something. So people would log it, go onto the tribunal, click guilty, 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 do your 10 cases or whatever it was, get your LP and then go back to fucking playing the game and being a cunt. That was how it worked. So 98% of the tribunal was just people being punished regardless of evidence. Riot Light thought that was genius. Then I want to say in like 2015, 2016, they had a big push on trying to find out if there was something wrong in your real life. Because, you know, video games developers should totally know what's going on in your life. Right? They should, right? Makes sense. We give so much over to these corporations anyway. Why not? And so they started accruing data from players that had negative usernames. So, you know, if your name was like fuck you in characters that couldn't be detected by their language filter, you'd get a survey, right? Have you ever been bullied? Does anyone bully you? Have you ever had an experience where... This is true. I know, guys, I know you don't believe me. I know it, because it's too long ago. This is what they were sending out to kids, essentially. I'll read you the questions. First one. I really like to be the center of attention, or it makes me uncomfortable to be the center of attention. I am no better or no worse than most people, or I think I am a special person. Everyone likes to hear my stories. Sometimes what's that fucking say? I tell good stories. I usually get the respect that I deserve. I insist upon getting the respect I am due. I don't mind following orders. I like having authority over other people. Sent out to children. This one as well, another one. Just to give you another example, you'll be able to see this one a little bit better. What happened to you during the last 7 days? I threatened to hurt or hit someone. I said things about others to make people laugh. I got angry very easily. I teased someone to make them angry. Look at the language. Teased. Who teases people outside of a school environment, right? I slapped or kicked someone. I got into a physical fight because I was angry. I was angry most of the day. I called other people names. I pushed or shoved other people. I encouraged other people. This is the preserve of children at school. That's exactly who they targeted. And the people who got these surveys, and the reason I know this is because they released a scientific study shortly after. The people who got these surveys were people that had offensive names, specifically. I remember, by the way, when I wrote that story, the League of Legends community said, typical Richard Lewis, biased against Riot again. They thought it was okay. They thought that was just normal for a video games company to do. Because the best thing Riot Games ever did was just indoctrinate. They're so good at it. Although, I will add, never seen a survey like that from a games company before. Never saw another one like it since. And I think it's the benchmark for game developer overreach. And probably should have been subject to a lawsuit, frankly. But, you know, I'm sure it was all very above board. That's how deep the battle against toxicity went at Riot. And then, of course, when it turned out they were all cunts themselves, including untold stories about the mastermind of these systems who now works at Facebook. Brilliant. This, what they did the other day, is like a total fucking surrender. A total surrender. Because they decided, listen, guys, we fought the battle, but we just can't win. Disabling all chat. All chat is the ability to talk to the opposite team. While most of our focus around behavioural systems in 2021 has been on gameplay-based behaviours like AFKing and inting, we've heard from you that verbal abuse has been a rising problem this year too. We're working on a number of changes to systemically address this at both the League and Riot levels. But one direct change you'll see soon is that in patch 11.21, we're disabling all chat in match-made queues. While all chat can be the source of fun, social interactions between teams, as well as some good-hearted banter, right now, negative interactions outweigh the positives. We'll evaluate the impact of this change through verbal abuse reports and penalty rates, as well as surveys and direct feedback from you all. There's a few things here, isn't there? Right? First up, and I can't believe I have to say this, all chat used to just be there, and you had to mute people, which you can still do. But then they changed it, so when you create an account, all chat's disabled now. It's something you already opt into. I choose to have the all chat. And yet, they now say, because there's so many negative interactions, so many, overwhelmingly, in this thing you opt into, they're just going to disable it. I'll also add, by the way, right, as a Dota player, how hilarious this is. Because in Dota, Valve have made things in the game designed to annoy and tilt your opponents. Like, all of the voice lines are insults, practically. It's a disaster. Being able to spam that at someone after they've lost a team fight. Tips. Being able to tip an opponent when they fuck up. They're doing it, by the way, in the World Championships. Now, I'm sure Riot would never allow that. Yeah, classic Lacard Matatatag. Right? It's all there. And it's all designed to piss your opponent off. There's no other explanation for it. But on top of that, Valve have approached toxicity in Dota. Toxicity in a much better way than Riot. It's got to be said. They have changed the entire way the game works to reduce friction. They gave everyone a courier, so there was no more courier fights over mid-priority, as was the meta. They made Observer Wards completely free, so one person doesn't get triggered about having to spend gold on it when it's not their job, it's everyone's job. They made fundamental changes to the game to try and, you know, there's insane comeback mechanics in Dota now. Because when people are getting stomped, people had a tendency to break their items, run it down mid or sit in fountain. Because what was the point? Now, that happens less because actually one team fight and your net worth just completely fucking changes. They've tried to reduce friction on a gameplay systems level. But it never, and I mean never, occurred to Valve to, like, let's ban the ability to communicate with our opponents. Like, what the fuck? In a competitive game? The psychological aspect's part of it. Now, I know some people are just going to flame and call you, like, racial epithets and stuff like that. You got systems to combat that. Riot have systems to combat that. But I'm going to tell you something, because I saw the reaction to this. And I know this is, oh, wow, Richard's just going to read League of Legends Reddit again. But I saw the reaction to this, and I was a little bit perplexed. Because the League of Legends community said they didn't like it. But I'm going to tell you, they definitely do like it. And I'll demonstrate that. But I'll just pick out some reactions, you know, the top reactions, because it was the biggest thread on the League of Legends subreddit for a while. And you can see, very cool, now the jungler gets flamed in team chat and not in all chat. And this, of course, alludes to what we all know. You don't get flamed by the opposition. If you play shit, the opposition kind of likes it, don't they? It's good for them. You get flamed by your team. The worst abuse you get is from your fucking teammates. It's the same in Dota. Every time I've been told to fucking neck myself, or called a name, or fucking insulted on the mic, or they've got voice chat too. You know, every time the most egregious abuse all comes from the guy that I'm meant to be playing with and working together with. Which is just the hilarity of the MOBA system in general, isn't it? You know, listen, society tells us 5 total strangers can't come together and fucking cooperate to achieve anything. Why would it work in a fucking anonymous video game? People don't do it when they're fucking in person, do they? Like 5 strangers stranded on a desert island, right? Yes, let's build a shelter. You build the fire. You get food. There's one guy going, I'm just going to club him to death and eat his flesh. Like, that's humanity. Like, so why it would work in a video game when no one even knows who anyone are and there could be no physical fucking consequences? Why the fuck would we all come together? MOBAs can't work. MOBAs cannot work because of the spectre of cannibalism or something. These games are fantastic with friends. Solo queue is hell. I am staggered anyone chooses to do it. Frankly, in both Dota or League, I can't imagine a worse experience in a video game. I really can't. MOBAs especially, because it's not like an FPS where it's like, I'll just pop off and fucking drop everybody and we'll win and it'll be all right. It's literally, right, we've drafted synergistically and we can't talk to each other in League unless we go on a stranger's Discord, which I don't recommend. And then we do it, and, you know, one bad team fight, one mistake, because we're not all on the same page. Not even to mention, perceptually, what you think is a mistake might not be a mistake. You know, how many... Stop me if you've heard this one in a MOBA. Why weren't you there? Why wasn't I there? Because it was a dog shit team fight, and I'm the player that creates pressure on the other part of the map. You fucking moron. Why weren't you there? Because I'm stacking ancients for our fucking Sven. Why weren't you there? Because I'm not following you into a fucking team fight we can't possibly win when we're 60 gold away from BKB. Yet, why weren't you there? It's the fucking call-out of dog shit players since time immemorial, right? Perceptually, you can't even... Keep in mind as well, we experience the MOBAs so subjectively. My screen, my game, my loadout, it's my timings, it matters to me. I'm the... Pro players tell you all the time, get good, noob, and just carry. So they reinforce a completely selfish mindset when you go into games. And as I've said many times, the fundamental problem with that is when you play solo in a MOBA, you don't just want to win. You want to carry because you're the hero, right? And everyone's telling you it's on you. Pros tell you it's on you. I have to do it. But what no one ever does is, right, I've been stomped in lane. What can I do to enable somebody who can carry the game? No one ever thinks like that in a fucking MOBA. It's how you think when you're with your mates. You go, fuck it, man. I'm not going to do much this game. I'm just going to go Rice Jungle for 20 minutes. Can you just buy me some time? Or, you know, whatever it is. So anyway, we'll scroll through some of these. How does Riot put out a fire? They call an ambulance. I guess that's lost in translation. The death of GG Easy, which we will talk about as the title of the stream should allude to. April Fools. Someone will just come in with please say psych and a SpongeBob picture probably. Very odd that they claim to be doing it to reduce verbal abuse, but 99% of toxicity is from your own teammates. End of an era for League. Delete ally chat and keep enemy chat. Remember when Riot's whole Season 8 ad campaign was about saying GG to your opponents? Lol. Rest in peace, GG. Dude, what? In Korea, this is a great comment, by the way. In Korea, this is called military-style work. If a problem occurs, the cause itself is removed to solve the problem. A lazy way to solve problems. We've been playing games and chatting for over 10 years, but if it's a terrible administration, you can already disable the entire chat in the game. This happens because the game company believes that the player wants the right game, not a fun game. I'm tired of game companies pretending to be nice. In Greece, we say something like, head hurts, cut head. And then I think there's cut your nose to spite your face in English. Sink the ship to kill the captain. We're all coming together globally, learning about cultures. Isn't it great? Can't honor enemies, can't talk to enemies, replace the enemies with bots as Tencent ordered, make the bots give you a free win to keep player engagement. Clowns emojis. Multiple question marks. Who asked for this? More question marks. I don't give a fuck if the enemy is telling me how shit I am in all chat. I just don't want to have to listen to my own teammate telling me how the game is lost. We should all kill ourselves while he does the same by running it down mid. There's already an option to disable all chat. Let people use it. This is so fucking stupid. Worst decision Riot's made in a while? That'd be the other thing, the scandal. That's so dumb. I enjoy joking around with enemies. This is just an absolutely baffling move. No one, and I mean literally not a single soul asked for this. Oh, I don't know about that, the flattest Stanley. I don't know about that. Now I can't tell any jokes to the enemy or say end if iron when they're hitting the nexus. The problem with this is, like all things League of Legends, there's an inherent contradiction because I know why this has been done. And let me tell you, it all comes back to 4 letters. GG, easy. Or Z, but Z, we'll say, because it rhymes. And let me explain GG easy to you in case you're not all fair with esports or a bit slow on the uptake. GG stands for good game. This was an early way of digitally expressing a sportsman-like gesture to your opponents in a shorthand that would transcend any language barriers. Because even though it's English, good game, abbreviating it to GG, just basic, it's a gesture to say well played, essentially, or thanks for the game, or whatever it was. And it's like shaking hands after a game of rugby or whatever. It's what we do. We brought sportsmanship into the digital world via this phraseology. And obviously you've got GLHF, good luck, have fun, you say at the start of a game, which I don't even think I've ever said that in my life, because I don't want you to have good luck, and I certainly don't want you to have fun, because I want to absolutely batter you and win. So I've never said that. But then again, remember, I am a hardwired cunt, and that's just how it is. So we've got this shorthand, right? So that's what GG was, and that's what it remains. Now, somewhere along the line, right, a few things started to happen. GG, which was just a catch-all phrase to say thanks for the game, well played, win or lose. Some genius somewhere, right, came up with the idea of BG, which, hold on to your hats here, folks. That stands for bad game. What people used to say at the end of games was BG. And typically, that would be someone who'd lost saying it wasn't a good game because I had a dog shit teammate. You got somebody ran it down mid, somebody griefed. You don't deserve the win. This wasn't an even playing field and a battle of skills. It was indeed a BG. It was a bad game. And so this led to, of course, lots of hilarious memes, including one which had Riot Light's face on it that said, I said GG, but really it was BG, right? Now, historically, the pushback against BG, right, was... Well, don't like that. BG. Oof. People thought, what if we could crank it up a notch? What if we could tilt our opponents in victory and cloak it with similar language to good sportsmanship? A lot of people play competitive video games for catharsis. I have talked about this phenomenon. No one really talks about it in gaming world or games development. People think it's bad. But, I'm just saying there's something to be said for if you've had a bad day and you're really pissed off and you might just want to shout at somebody on the internet, right? It's just true. And so a lot of people, by the way, that are like really angry in games, if you can ever reach them via conversation, they're having a really shit day. Here's something that no one ever thinks about. Let's say, right, because we're all gamers, we're all the G word, right? If you're a Zoomer gamer and you live at home with your parents and you can play for 8 hours a day, that's really different to a slightly older gamer that's maybe come out of college, has their own apartment, has a job, has a girlfriend, has a boyfriend, has to spend time with people, and they get 1 hour to play. So that 1 hour becomes very precious. That might be one game. And so when you come in and someone is fucking up your game, it can seem like, oh, I'm meant to be enjoying myself here and I'm not. I got an arsehole. And so people can snap easily. And I've always said, you can diffuse a lot of this. Just by, whether it's right or not, you just say to somebody, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm playing shit. But people won't do it. People don't have the ego. And so you have these like horrible negative experiences. We could make it a lot easier on ourselves than we do, but we don't. And a lot of this, like I say, is about the nice cathartic feeling. It's great to stomp somebody in a video game if you're angry. It's great to especially if they've tried to be a little bit cheeky and dropped a question mark because you didn't have a good start or whatever. We all love it. We've all done it, I still do it. That never gets talked about. But it's that sentiment where GG easy comes from. And what you're saying is, good game, but it was easy. And some people use it ironically, GG easy, after a really hard, like, 90 minutes techies game or whatever. But the purpose of GG easy is to say, I beat you, and it was so easy because you're so shit. But if you typed any of that, if you typed that out, you know, you're dog shit, you go straight to the tribunal and face mob justice for money, don't you? So what you do is you go GG easy. GG easy. Now, I've got no problem with GG easy. It's never affected me. I've seen people type GG easy in a game of Dota, and you can just see somebody like, how can you say it was easy? You got carried, fuck you, noob. And it's like, how are you having a breakdown over fall? Like, chill the fuck out, homie. Like, you know what I mean? Just fucking relax. It wasn't easy. It wasn't. Like, yeah, that's the joke, you mad cunt. You literally see people fucking just lose their mind over GG. I've never understood it. But here's the problem, and how it relates to League, and how it relates to their decision to disable all chat. Somewhere along the road, GG easy became a bannable phrase, right? Because the League of Legends community is soft as shit. Like, Rich, where are you pulling this from? There's no way this is true. All right, then. As always, kept the receipts. But imagine you had a report system in your game, and every time someone said GG easy, you issued a report. Because remember, GG easy is what your opponent says to you, right? And you overwhelmed that report system. That's meant to catch racists and misogynists and really abusive people. And you overwhelm that system with reports because of 4 letters on a screen. Because you're too mentally weak to deal with being told it was an easy game for me. So let me show you some of these threads from the wonderful world of the League of Legends subreddit. And then understand why Riot have decided to disable all chat, right? Because really, you wanted it. You've wanted it the whole time. Let me take you back in time. 8 years, right? Saying GG, this is upvoted. And 8 years ago, this is a lot of upvotes. A lot of upvotes, as they say on Reddit. Upvotes. Doot doot. Tip tip, my lady. Thanks for the gold, stranger. Right? Saying GG easy at the end of a game is still toxic, even if you're not swearing. I had a friend argue with me today. You should fill in your Riot survey. They'd love that info. I had a friend argue with me today because he got temporarily banned for saying GG easy. Oh, look, it was a bannable offence. Interesting. At the end of a bunch of games. When you put down the other team right after they just suffered a loss, you're still going to cause them to be upset. Just because you're not calling them bad or directly insulting them, you still lower how they already feel. My friend was arguing that the League community sucked so badly they couldn't even handle things like being said GG easy. And to me, he was the one that was the problem with the community. The snobbery, putting down of others, is the problem with the League community, not the people who are offended by it. TLDR, just love. Right. Give you 2 minutes to wipe the vomit off your keyboards. You can also see as well, holy shit, this got a lot of views. I hate when people do that. Plug your fucking SoundCloud, you know what I'm saying? Also, I stream Make Mods if anyone cares. I love you guys. Me and my friend aren't really that close anymore. Imagine I broke up with a friend because he thinks GG easy is acceptable. This is the fucking League community. I thought it meant GG Ezreal. Tell your friend he's a dick. The people defending this type of behaviour, the reason esports is not taken seriously as real sports. Yes, no one has ever done anything. Again, the League of Legends community ability to like do sports comparisons it's always been bad, guys. It's always staggeringly bad. There has never been an unsporting gesture in the history of sports. Never. Never happened. Yes, it's this. People saying GG easy in pub games are why. Our growth industry that has outpaced real sports for several years is in the doldrums. Ronnie Boo has actually said on the forums that saying easy at the end of a game is a bannable offence. Right? What? Now, unfortunately, Riot, realizing that they could essentially control Reddit via the mods that moderate Reddit, decided they didn't need to keep their forums anymore. So that's not there, unfortunately. It's a shame, a simple shame that we'll never be able to get that receipt. Or any of the light smites or other craziness that used to go on that was completely inappropriate. Riot will just, we'll just memory hold that. I don't care which team it's on. Popping an easy off at the end of a match is an instant report from me. I hate that crap. Someone saying GG easy to me is worse than them flaming me on my team. I don't know why. It just really pisses me off. Saying GG easy is like breaking someone's arm after arm wrestling. Let's do another one, because it's not just one thread from 8 years ago. Let's go 6 years ago. So we've advanced 2 years. Have people grown up? Have they toughened up? Have they learned to accept in the arena of virtual combat? Someone might want to rub it in your face when you lose, something every sports person will experience at some time in their development. Let's see. Here we are, 6 years ago. To everyone complaining they got punished for saying GG easy because, yes, it was a bannable offence. People were being banned for it. Riot codified that. And for reasons I'll never understand to this day, and basically made the forums, i.e. Reddit, flood with, I've been banned for GG easy, I've been banned for GG easy, and moderators disappearing those complaints because they used the wonderful rule, this is not Riot Games customer support, yet whenever anyone wants to say anything good about Riot, up dukes to the left. This guy is brilliant. This is like some Phoenix Wright shit, because this motherfucker went to the Summoner's Code, ladies and gentlemen. Wait a minute. Another valuable bit of context. Riot Games, not a cult. Riot Games, when they made their game, right, League of Legends, because Riot likes mental, they decided you can't just have rules. Rules just aren't good enough. Rules don't make you swear an oath or fealty to an entity. Rules are just something we abide by. You know they're there, you don't break them. Or maybe you do. And maybe there's punishments. Rules, yeah. Not going to do it for a cult. So they created something called the Summoner's Code. The Summoner's Code. This is, again, Riot Games are the most mental, deranged games development company of all time. It's fucking staggering. I can't believe the shit that's coming out my mouth. I can't believe, people just aren't like, yeah, this is fucked up and creepy. The Summoner's Code. And what that is when you play their game, very much in there's TOS, which, by the way, says, we can run creepy surveys on your children, right? So there's TOS, right? But there's also, I swear to uphold the Summoner's Code. I'm a summoner now. I summon my heroes and move them around the map. So now I have to adopt a fucking codified, dogmatic, behavioral rule. And that's what the Summoner's Code is. And it's like saying, I will behave this, I won't do this, I won't do that, I won't do... Grow the fuck up. Grow the fuck up. But anyway, this guy, 6 years ago, people were saying, I don't think we should be getting banned for GG easy, actually. I don't call people cunts. I'm never toxic. I try my hardest every game. Maybe say GG easy at the end of a game shouldn't get me banned. All right? Well, no, this guy... He's much like me, a young Richard Lewis, this guy must have been, in the making, because he went and got the receipts and said, objection! To everyone complaining that they got punished for saying GG easy. Summoner's Code, rule number 6, says, show humility in victory and grace in defeat. Having a great game is one of the biggest joys that League of Legends can bring you. But always bear in mind that when you're relishing that landslide victory, there is someone on the receiving end that's probably ripping their hair out. While it's all right to celebrate, make sure you keep any gloating or any other mode of self-indulgence out of all chat. Instead, thank your opponents for the game. After all, despite their best efforts, they just made you a very happy person. That is the rule. That's Riot's rule. That's not his post. That's what they said. That's what Riot said. And then the poster says, just in case you forgot, it's one thing to say GG and another thing to say GG easy. Yeah, it is. Yeah, there's an extra fucking word there. Easy stands for easy. So yeah, it is. They are different. All these people so mad that they're being forced to have some goddamn manners. It's not a matter of manners to me, right? This got gold, this comment, so you know it must be good. It's not a matter of manners to me. Saying GG easy is the biggest son of a bitch move you can make in the game. Winning cures everything. Losing creates frustration out of dust particles. You have such little disregard for anybody but yourself that you're going to intentionally frustrate 5 other people for literally no benefit whatsoever. Scum of the earth. Cussing somebody out because you're mad at them, I can understand. Don't tell me GG easy when I lose. It's my #1 most hated behaviour. That comment, obviously mind-blowing. When people say GG easy, regardless of which team they are on, I report them. Fuck that. Don't be a fucking asshole. It's the depressing realisation that folks here are just as mean as the raging kids we make jokes about. It just makes me really sad. You are the raging kids. You play the fucking game. The community is you. You are the community. Imagine that if after every football game, a player from the winning-losing team bounce his ass to the enemy team screaming, easy noobs. That's the same thing as GG easy after a game. It's insulting and says a lot about your stupid personality. Now, I don't know if you've ever watched sports, right? But there's this thing. I'll use football as an example. You know, the most popular sport in the world. There's this thing called celebrations. You may have come across them. People score a goal. And what do? They run over to the supporters, usually, regardless of who the supporters are, and they go, yeah, fucking woohoo, kissing the badge. Fucking if the supporters have been giving them a hard time. My personal favourite, by the way, and one I would absolutely do in every fucking game is I would just be like that. Oh, I love giving them big ears. Big ears, talk shit, come on, big ears. Bottles raining down. Oh, yes. I fantasize about being able to do that at an esports event. Give them the fucking big ears. Guess what? That hurts people's feelings. You know? The people who lose. The supporters whose team has lost. Imagine, right? You're a poor working class guy. You get out the factory, right? You've been on fucking split shift. So you've been living in the fucking shadow realm, getting in at fucking, 5, 6 a.m. every morning, having to sleep through the day while your cunt neighbours are doing leaf blowers. Because every day you've got to blow leaves for some reason in suburbia. Barely able to sleep. Fucking eyes like pissholes in the snow. Zombified. Oh, he's mowing the lawn now. Why is that dog barking? Why is my doorbell ringing? I'm a night shift worker. You go through all that fucking hell. And then Saturday comes and you go, all right, fucking get it together. I'm going to go watch my fucking football team, right? Love this team. North FC. Simple as. Love them. And you go and you see them, and you sit there, and you've paid fucking 60 quid for a ticket that, one of the little perks you allow yourself, because the rest of the money goes on the divorce, and on the house, and on the kids, and everything else, yeah? This is the only thing you have. And you go there, and your team's shite, and they play like shite, and you get battered, and you've got your ex-player who used to play for you, and he was shite when he played for you, but he's banged in 20 goals this motherfucking season for the new team in 10 games, and he's just scored a hat-trick against you, and there he is in front of you. Yes, yeah, wanker, whoa, whoa, whoa. And bottles are raining, and pennies are raining, and he doesn't give a fuck because he's going home happy. Guess we got to ban that then, yeah? Because that's a fucking realistic scenario. That's how I can describe it in such fucking vivid detail. Won't somebody think of the feelings in sports? Come on, man. Ever played on a sports team as a child? This'll be good. This guy's a real athlete. GG is like shaking the other team's hand after a game. So far, so good. GG easy is like slapping the opponents in the face and saying you suck. You'd get your sorry hide grounded and kicked from the team if you did that after a sports game. Now, no, it's nothing like that, is it? Because that's an assault. I'll also tell you, back when I used to play for a rugby team in the northeast that I won't name for the purposes of doxing, we had an unbelievable rivalry with Hartlepool. Unbelievable rivalry. Let me tell you, when we used to play them, Hartlepool West, in fact, one time we had a game just called off because the referee lost control of the game. Imagine that. Imagine that being like the fucking... And yes, we now go to the Manchester Derby, and it's been called off because the referee has lost control of the game. And one time, when we were going through the tunnel in rugby is where you line up on either side, like that, and you applaud your opponents through, and then when they get through, they make another tunnel, all the players, and they do the same to you, and then you go and have showers, and you and the horse play, shared communal showers, and rugby's a weird game in a lot of ways. The culture around rugby is mental, because also traditionally what you're supposed to do while you're all just naked burly men sitting in a bath together, right, after having just spent 80 minutes trying to kill each other, you then go, whoever the home team is, traditionally, they put on the entertainment at the bar, get the drinks, you have to give out the food tokens, because you've got to provide a meal for the travelling team, because, that'll be reciprocated on the, next thing. So, it's a generally a good friendly culture, but when it goes fucking wrong, it's savage as fuck. And let me tell you, those games I played were so contentious, were so violent and so hostile. We didn't make tunnels at the end of those games. We didn't say GG. We certainly didn't shake hands. It was just better we didn't even look at each other. And then one time, the only time that it's ever happened, there was another game at Hartlepool where someone just got punched in the fucking tunnel. Do you know why? Because they'd won and said the equivalent of GG easy. The GG Easy wasn't the slap in the face. The guy who went, fuck you, and smashed him in the grill in the tunnel. That was the slap in the face. An inability to take GG Easy is the problem. Yeah, you won. It was easy for you. Good job. See you in the return game, you cunts, down at our ground, yeah? That's the attitude. That's sports. The easy... Oh, I could do this all night. This material is solid fucking gold, by the way, guys. For all I bang on Reddit, I've got to say, I can stretch 90 minutes of solid comedic gold out of just one Reddit thread. I could make this my whole career, I think. It's so mental, the shit people type on the fucking internet. The easy turns a respectful cyber handshake into a spit in their face. Now, let me tell you, right? Sports is weird culturally in the sense that you can punch someone and people will go, well, tempers were frayed. And it's an assault, but you would never dream of calling the police or anything. It's super rare it happens, like Duncan Ferguson, he headbutted someone in a game in Scotland and he actually went to prison for it for a bit, if I remember rightly. And, it rarely happens, right? You see some mad shit. By the way, this is a total tangent, but you'll love it. This was mental. There was a top-tier, top-flight game in Brazil where a player kicked a referee in the head and he's just going to go to jail. Like, he's facing an attempted murder charge. Like, it's fucking mental. So, that was Caralho in its purest form, I think. But, there you go. Yeah, Zidane, World Cup final. What did you say about my sister? Bang! Completely fucking, ruins the game. You're the best player in the world. Just keep your head. Do it afterwards. You're retiring, But no. In that moment of pure hubris, When we just thought we'd laugh about the Zidane. He headbutted a player in a field. And we, yeah, remember when Zidane fucking headbutted him? Yeah, it was hilarious, that, wasn't it? You know, so we have a weird attitude. But spitting is the most reviled behaviour. Even to spit at somebody and not on them is considered like this. You know, you'll do a fucking season ban for spitting. Not so much for fucking going over the top of the ball and trying to break someone's leg. There's a number of instances, you know, that sort of verify that. So a spit in the face, absolutely not. If a professional sports competitor spat in someone's face, like, you're done. It's worse. Remember, Luis Suarez has bit 3 separate people on 3 separate occasions during a football match. And everyone's like, yeah, well, you know, he's got a problem with biting, but he's still the best in the world. You never get anyone make excuses for spitting. And as I've said before, one of the greatest bits of sports commentary I've ever heard was after Luis Suarez bit someone on the shoulder. To try and hide the fact he bit them, he did this as he went down like that. And Robbie Savage said on air, how's he expect to get away with that? He's gone down holding his teeth. Brilliant. Just pure comedy gold. Anyway, on it goes. Let's have a look now. Guys, there's more. There's more. And this is great because we get a cameo from our demented overlord, Riot Light. So, 4 years ago, is GG Easy considered as negative attitude? Because it is bad manner. I seriously hate players that laugh at the opposite team with writing GG Easy. That's so unsportsmanlike and just bad manner. When I told my opposite player that GG Easy is quite negative, he started spamming Easy in chat. Why people are so rude and just not nice. Why they can't write GGWP. That stands for well played, guys. GGWP. Or don't write anything at all. Does reporting it for negative attitude work in that case? Will player that was reported for GG Easy be penalised? So first thing we know is this guy's a motherfucking snitch. Right? And that just sums up League of Legends in general, by the way. A nation of wannabe cops. All desperate to police everyone. Safe in the knowledge the boot will never be on their necks. No, no, no. That's what they are. And they love it. One of the things that Riot did, another reason, by the way, how you know Riot Light is an absolute mentalist, is they thought it was a good idea to tell people, oh yeah, your snitchery and reporting worked and we banned those players. And they go, oh yeah, I got them. Reinforcing the fucking behavior of just reporting anyone that mildly upsets you, overwhelming the report system and making it absolutely impossible to identify the people who actually need to be banned over the people that just said GG Easy. And so here you go. Yes, Riot themselves have stated GG Easy is a reportable phrase and is a negative way to end a match. I've seen people get up to 2 weeks banned. Oh my God. Imagine it, man. People pay thousands to play this game. You don't even own your accounts. I'm pretty sure that Riot just banned the occasional one just to keep the business model ticking over fucking very nicely. Buy all them skins again. Heh. See ya. Here's what Riot Light had to say on the matter. What did Riot Light have to say on the matter? What did the man who designed this system have to say on the matter? One of our philosophies is to try to not dictate what's okay or not okay in League of Legends, unless we absolutely have to. We rely on data like reports, honours, social media, the instant feedback system, and the tribunal to help determine the standards of what the community believes is okay or not okay. This is why all of our systems are intentionally designed to be community-driven, because we want players to have the ability to invest in and shape their own community. In saying this, looking at the data, GG Easy is considered a negative term and is reportable. Players generally agree that the phrase is rarely used in a positive context and is a pretty sour way to end a match. There you go. You did it. Riot Light himself said, actually, the community thinks GG Easy is bad. Thinks it's so bad it should be reportable and people should get up to 2-week bans. This was, of course, reinforced, as you'll see, in the thread by a support thing. Hi there, support guy. I seriously... Imagine contacting customer support. Imagine contacting customer support over this. Help me, Riot. Someone said GG Easy in a game. I seriously hate players that laughing at opposite team with writing GG Easy, which is described as GG Easy. I love as well. He's like, I'm doing it as a bit when I explain the words, I hope you realise. He has literally explained easy means the same as easy to an employee of Riot Games. Like, that's fucking so... mental. That's so unsportsmanlike and just bad manner. Does reporting it for negative attitude work in that case? Will player that was reported for GG Easy penalised? Hello, Summoner. That's the other... Oh, Riot Games. You fucking memes. Imagine it. Imagine a company like... His name's there. Just use his name. Hi, Summoner. Yes. Hello, Summoner! Right, yes. This counts as unsportsmanlike behaviour, and it's considered negative behaviour, so it can attract a punishment by the instant feedback system. Please let me know if you have any other questions. Have a nice day. Kasim, player support specialist. And they all have to have a voice line or a quote in their signature. Ah, the sweet tones of misery. Probably not best for a customer support quote, you mad cunt. So... on and on and on it goes. On and on and on and on. Right? I can't even believe it. Right? Look, here's one from 2 years ago. Not as upvoted, right? Although everyone sort of agrees, right? I took a couple of months off from playing, and now I'm back. It seems every game ends with at least one person on the winning team saying GG, easy, easy, etc. What's going on? They thought it was easy. It was no great mystery. They won a game. They said it was easy. That's that, right? Are you one of the people saying this? No flame. Please explain. Saying GG easy on a game you weren't supposed to win is the ultimate form of bad manners. That's what insecure kids type. Usually after getting carried by people who don't need to be bad manners because they are good and their game speaks for themselves. GG easy is just an easier way to type, I have a micro penis. That's being clipped. I blame Trick2G. I don't know why. Yeah, brilliant. You got me, Reddit. You got me again. First the lifetime ban and now this. Probably see it in a YouTube video soon on micro penis integrity. Volume 5. People who say GG easy after they win a game are toxic. I think this is honestly a really mean-spirited way of kicking someone while they are down. It's toxic behaviour, and it just makes me more upset than I already am for losing the game. Which is the point. They want you to feel bad, which in my eyes makes them bad people. Fair play. Top comment there. Sorry if your feelings were hurt. If you can't say nothing nice, say nothing at all. That's great advice. Unless you need to insult someone, in which case it's not very practical, is it? I don't enjoy when people say GG easy. Somebody says, if you can't handle people saying GG easy, maybe competitive video games aren't for you. Valid viewpoint. Someone replies with, maybe if you say GG easy, then competitive games aren't for you. Got him. And on it goes. I can literally link you to another 10 threads. But why belabor the point? Right. Back to how this links to what I'm talking about. How can people act fucking surprised? The most common form of interaction after a game is typing GG easy, probably. I would wager it's way and above out in front of anything else that anyone types after you win a game against an opponent. And so they've decided to remove all chat. And why wouldn't they? Riot Games employs people to literally sit there and stare at Reddit all day, and the overwhelming sentiment on Reddit is GG easy is not just bad, it's so bad, it's like spitting in the face, breaking an arm. It's the biggest affront that you can possibly go through, right? And obviously Riot Games listen to what you have to say, right? They listen to what you have to say. It's all they fucking do. They love pandering to you. They know if they pander to you, you will say, no matter what, all the bad shit they do, no matter how much they fuck you over as consumers, you'll go, yeah, well, at least they listen to us. They do care. And so they've followed up, guys. They followed up. You cried about GG Easy for years, for 8 years. Now no one can say it. And you got the fucking balls to make a thread. Ah, this is ridiculous. Just outrageous. Where would Riot get this idea from? They track everything you say. They track everything you say on Reddit. Absolutely insane. You just gotta fucking grow up and understand competition. Sportsmanship isn't a rule. Sportsmanship is a choice. Do I prefer it? Yes. Is it always warranted? No. Are you always gonna receive it? No. Should you have a fucking meltdown if you don't get it? Big no. Holy shit, people are out of fucking control.